October 6, 2014, from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. It was Game 3 of the NLDS between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals. John Lackey was on the mound for the Cardinals, and Hyun-Jin Ryu was on the mound for the Dodgers. So in the top of the first, Lackey led off a leadoff single to D. Gordon. Gordon would then steal second, but Puig would strike out. Gordon ended up on third from a wild pitch, a pass ball by Molina. And then the next two batters were retired by Lackey as he set down Gonzalez and Kemp and brought the top half of the first to a close. So now in the bottom of the first batter Ryu faced was Carpenter, and he struck him out. Then he struck out the next batter, Gertchuk. But then he walked Holiday, but he got Peralta to the ground out, and that was the end of the first inning, with the game still knotted up with a goose egg. So now in the top of the second, Hanley Ramirez led off with a single. Then the next two batters got out, Crawford and Uribe, and then Ellis got a single. So then we had 2 on, 2 out, and Ryu struck out. So then Ryu would come to pitch the bottom half of the second, and he would end up letting off a leadoff single to Adams, and then Molina would end up getting a single. So now we had 2 on, no out, but then John Jay struck out, and then Wong came up to bat, and he hit into a fielder's choice, and Molina was out at second. Adams did move to third, so we had runners on the corner with 2 outs, and then Lackey ended up grounding out. So both pitchers brought their respective half innings to a close in the second. So now heading into the third, Lackey would set down the Dodgers in order. He struck out Gordon and Puig to begin the top of the third, and then got Gonzalez to ground out. So now in the bottom of the third, Matt Carpenter was the leadoff hitter, and he hit a home run as he took Ryu deep, hitting it over 400 feet, and it was now 1-0 St. Louis. So now the next batter would end up getting out, Gertchuk, and now we had Holiday up to bat, and he got a single, but then Peralta would strike out, and Adams would pop out, and the third would come to a close, but not after the Cardinals had put that 1 run on the board with that leadoff home run from Carpenter. So after 3, it was 1-0 St. Louis over LA. Now in the top of the fourth, Lackey would set down the Dodgers in order. So let's go to the bottom of the fourth, and Ryu would do almost the same. He got Molina to ground out, and then Jay got a single, but Wong hit into a double play. So he ended up only seeing 3 batters. So after 4, it was still 1-0 Cards over the Dodgers. So now in the top of the fifth, Lackey would strike out Uribe to begin the inning, but then he let up a walk to Ellis. Then Ryu sacrificed Ellis over to second, but Gordon would ground out. So we'd go to the bottom of the fifth, and Ryu would set down the Cardinals in order. So now after 5, it was still 1-0 St. Louis over LA. So now in the top of the sixth, Lackey would let off a leadoff triple to Puig. So Puig was 90 feet away from tying this game up at 1 run apiece with no outs. Gonzalez would then fly out, but Puig was not able to come in because it was not deep. So then Kemp struck out, so now it was 2 outs after the leadoff triple. And that's when Hanley Ramirez came to bat, and he hit a double and brought Puig in to score, and this game was tied up at 1 run apiece. Kyle Crawford then came up with Hanley Ramirez in scoring position, but he struck out, and so after 6.5 innings, this game was knotted up at 1 run apiece. So now in the bottom of the sixth, Ryu would end up setting down the Cards in order. So after 6, it was 1-1 Dodgers Cards tied up. So now here we are in the 7th inning. Lackey was still on the mound pitching a great game. He got the first couple batters out. As he struck out the second batter, he saw Ellis. Van Slyke then came in to pinch hit for Ryu, so Ryu's day would be done, but he would ground out. And so Lackey got through the inning as he set down the Dodgers in order. And so now we're in the bottom of the 7th. And Elbert would be the pitcher, as Ryu had been hit for in the top of the 7th. So then Elbert would let off a leadoff double to the first batter he saw, Yadier Molina. John Jay then sacrificed Molina over to third, and then Kolten Wong came to the plate with Yadier Molina just 90 feet away, the go-ahead run. And Wong did more than that as he hit a 2-run shot over 400 feet as he took Elbert deep, and it was now 3-1 St. Louis over LA. So the Cardinals now took the lead with that 2-run shot, and that would be it for Lackey as he was pinch hit for by Tavares. So Tavares would come in to face Elbert, and he would ground out, and then Carpenter hit a double, and that would be it for Elbert as Lee came in to relieve him. And then Gerchuk hit a single, so now we had runners on the corners. Carpenter was just 90 feet away from adding another run, but Holiday would end up grounding out. And so this inning would come to a close, but not after the Cardinals added 2 runs to the score as they took the lead, as it was now 3-1 Cards over the Dodgers. It's now in the top of the 8th. Neshek would come in to pitch as Lackey had been pitch hit for in the bottom of the 7th, and he would end up facing Gordon, and he got him to ground out, and then Puig struck out, and Gonzalez popped out, and so he ended up setting down the Dodgers in orders. It was 3 up and 3 down, and so now we're in the bottom of the 8th, and Wilson would come in to pitch for League, and he would let up a leadoff double to Peralta, and so then Adams would be walked intentionally, but then Yadier Molina struck out, so he had 2 on, 1 out, and Howell would come in to relieve Wilson. So now John Jay would hit a single, and the bases were juiced for Kolten Wong, who would hit a 2-run homer in his last at bat, but Kolten Wong hit into a double play, and the 8th inning came to a close with the score still 3-1 St. Louis over LA. So here we were in the top of the 9th as Trevor Rosenthal came in to close out this game for the Cardinals, as the Dodgers now were looking at a 2-run deficit, and they had 3 outs left in this game, or they would go down 2-1 in the series. Matt Kemp would be the first batter, and he'd strike out swinging, so it was 1 out for Hanley Ramirez when he stepped up to the plate, and he had a single. So now Crawford came up and he hit a single, so now we had 2 on, 1 out, and Uribe would end up popping out. Ramirez ended up moving over to third on the out though. So now we had runners on the corner, 2 on, 2 out, and A.J. Ellis at the plate as the tying run was on first base, and the go-ahead run was at the plate, and A.J. Ellis popped out, and so this game came to a close as Trevor Rosenthal closes it out, and the final score is 3-1 St. Louis over LA, as the Cardinals now take a 2-1 lead in this series. And in this game, John Lackey was the winning pitcher as he pitched an impressive 7 innings. He only let up 1 run and 5 hits and 1 walk. He had 8 strikeouts. Neshek came in to relieve to pitch the 8th inning, and he did not let any hits up. He got 1 strikeout, and then Rosenthal got the save as he closed it out. He did let up the 2 hits, but he got the strikeout and he got the save as no one scored there in the top of the 9th. Ryu pitched 6 innings and only allowed 1 earned run and 5 hits. He did walk a batter and he struck out on 4 batters. Did let up that home run, but it was that solo shot to Carpenter. And so when he left the game, it was still tied. So the loss ended up going to Elbert, who pitched 2/3 of an inning, let up 2 earned runs and 3 hits. So that was it for the pitching. And for the batting, Hanley Ramirez was 3 for 4 with 1 RBI. He had the most hits in this game. Carpenter was 2 for 4. He had that home run, and he had a double. Molina had a double, and Peralta had a double. They also had the home run for Kolten Wong, as he had 2 RBIs, and he was 1 for 4. John Jay and Molina each had 2 hits. Jay 2 for 3, Molina 2 for 4. So quite a game as the Cardinals get that late home run from Wong, as they end up scoring all their runs from home runs. It's not necessarily so typical of the National League, but Matt Carpenter gets that home run in the 3rd. The Dodgers tie it up in the 6th, and then in the bottom of the 7th, Kolten Wong hits that 2-run shot as the Cardinals win this game, with Trevor Rosenthal closing it out. Lackey with the win. The final score, Cardinals 3, Dodgers 1, as the Cardinals now take the 2-1 lead in the NLDS.